So the images you just saw were all shot on Hasselblad X systems with a range of prime lenses that I was able to test out in the past, mainly using natural or indirect light. So for this video, I had the opportunity to test out the X2D Mark II and the zoom lens that is basically all over YouTube at the moment, the 35-100E zoom lens. And I wanted to put it in a bit of a different lighting situation and really focus on artificial light or low light conditions. So that's basically what we're gonna do. So as a location, basically became a tourist in my own country and visited a famous landmark in Brussels called the Atomium, which was constructed in 1958 for the World Fair. It was supposed to be temporary, but as it goes with some things, it basically stayed. It represents a iron crystal. So from the outside, it's quite an atypical structure. So very interesting to look at. Took a couple of shots playing around a bit with the zoom itself. But the real cool thing is on the inside, because you can go to multiple spheres, you can take a couple of escalators, and the inside is basically one big lighting show. A lot of colorful lights, artificial lights, blinking all over the place, and it provided for some cool subject matter to photograph. So what was the shooting experience like? Fortunately, the Hasselblad has a couple of tricks up its sleeve, both from the hardware as from the software part, to really tackle these a bit more tricky lighting situations. First off, the zoom lens, being the most recent lens with the most advanced technology inside them, really pairs really well with the camera itself. So the fact that it has a new autofocus system with the LiDAR and the phase detect combination and the motors of the lens, I never experienced any hunting or issues while using the camera. Also, you have like a small joystick now that you can use to move around your focus point, and honestly, it performed admirably. What else does it have? It also has IBIS 10 stops. Typically, you can keep your ISO quite low and get perfectly sharp shots while doing it, especially if you have a static subject. It's perfectly doable to use very low shutter speeds and get perfect results. And I use that combination as well to blur out a couple of moving subjects, and I create a bit of movement, a bit of dynamic in the shots as well. So lots of options to experiment with. Thing that I noticed in natural light, I was always very impressed with the colors coming straight out of camera. Feels a bit like magic. I almost never have to tinker or tweak the white balance. If I throw the various lighting conditions at the camera, it always comes up with a visually pleasing image, at least to my eye. And that's really a game changer, because the more time you can save in post and spend on other things is a big win, in my opinion. So even in artificial lights, I have to say the images you see are almost unedited. And to me, at least, they look gorgeous. And then the final trick that they have up their sleeve comes from the software part. So you can use the Focus 2 app for the Hasselblad X cameras, either on the iPad or on the iPhone. And if you have to use higher ISO, which is for some subjects, of course, inevitable, it does introduce quite a lot of noise, but they now have this Hasselblad natural noise reduction feature, where you can either choose to go for maximum purity or for maximum detail. And with just the touch of a button, it really cleans up these files, and in my opinion, creates perfectly usable results. And the fact that this is free software, if you buy these cameras, to really get the maximum out of these raw files, is a big plus that doesn't get mentioned too often, in my opinion. But the fact that they provide, if you buy the hardware and they provide you with a perfectly usable mobile friendly software to get the most out of the files that you create, is quite a nice feature, and really makes the whole user journey, the user experience complete, because you have the camera. It even has a 1 terabyte internal SSD. So you have the camera, you can take your shots, you can connect it to your mobile device, and then you have the software to get the most out of it, do the editing that you need to do, clean up the files, and in the end export them as a JPEG to your phone or to your computer, print them out, and basically the circle is round. The more I use this camera and this system, the more I actually like it, and the more I start to understand the small nuances that it has, and the more hidden features that it has. Would I go for a zoom lens? Probably not. I do understand the benefits when it comes to versatility and the fact that you can have like one lens to rule them all, but to me the form factor and the weight is just a little bit too much. I still prefer the smaller prime lenses like the 38 or the 55 as a combo with this camera system. But yeah, I think they've gone a long way, and I think at this point it really becomes a viable option if you want to go for maximum image quality and have a system that produces images visually pleasing straight out of camera. I think this is a very, very enticing option at the moment. But I'm really curious what you guys think of these examples that I shared with artificial light. Do you like them? You don't like them? Leave all your thoughts in the comments. And with that, I leave you to it, and see you in the next one.